Hello and welcome to the EPROM 9, and those of you who watch Marvin Watching Macaulay, I'll put a link to his channel down below, might recognise this because he did a video on this rather wonderful device. And that is, well, what it does is for terrible things is programming the fuses of bombs, basically, shells by the looks of it, artillery, from the cone design. So yes, even in the 1980s, bombs were computerized, and this is how you'd program the fuses. And I imagine potentially for things like doing air bursts, you could do shrapnel damage or digging into a concrete bunker then detonating. But yeah, it basically allows you to configure the fuse and detonation and whatnot, and it's programmed through this lovely vehicle mounted device with this backplane that definitely mounted in a vehicle, and this thing is solid. Who knows? But it's going to end up probably on display in my sitting room. So let's power it on and show you it working, shall we? Because his one had a power supply fault, my one has a display fault. So that is supposed to be, unfortunately it goes off very quickly. Oh, have we just made the, we don't have the luxury of moving that, unfortunately. Because when we change that through it, you notice there's actually this segment there. There's actually a test where it's going through all the segments, and this one's dead, and the others are basically like there's about, well, there's a dead segment on each. And because of that, I suspect it's actually in the driver rather than with the display units themselves. This one seems to be dead as well. And then we've got brightness control here. We also have a display test which does that. It does that. It's actually detecting the error. Ha! Error 82. And what do you know? That one lights up. So we've got an error 82 error code, basically. So who knows? Maybe we'll try and fix this. And then we have a training mode and battle mode. And it also has the security tag, but it's not numbered, so that would be absolutely useless for auditing. Plus of all, these can actually be undone in a similar way to zip ties. I don't know if I can demo it in front of you or not. No, this one's not going to comply, so I'm not going to fart us about trying to get that to do that, basically. But yeah, you can configure all these things. All the various numbers and stuff on there. You can tell this one ain't working. That does that. That one gives us an error 71. Interesting how you look at that. So obviously the error... Interesting. Maybe it's not the display driver that's erroring, but it's actually something on the computer. But enough rambling, and we'll turn him off, and we'll go into takey apart modes. Yeah, well, using a pride sticker as a insulator to stop these two shorting out, because, well, that's just the way it rolls. So we'll start with the head unit. There's not a huge amount in this thing. The cone that goes on the top of the bomb. This looks like a grounding strap because it's not actually a singular contact. I took this ring off. There's not really much point in taking this bit out. Royal Ordnance for the Royal Army. Because I believe the army, when they swear allegiance, they actually swear allegiance to the Queen rather than the country as a whole, or the people. And then we got pass fail. We've got an... Oh, shit. Oh, damn it. I wanted to do a video about swearing and we failed miserably. Draws excess current. Damn it! I've wanted to do a video. I think it's impossible for me to do. Can I actually do a video about swearing? No. That's what you guys have to do. You have to count the amount of times I swear. So we pop him open. Oh, isn't this exciting? We got our usual little baggie of silica gel that lives in these things. The rubber O-ring actually is greased round it, which you don't often see, but that's basically to improve sealing, because if you've ever done anything with rubber O-rings, you know that adding in a little grease there increases the water resistance and resistance from other contaminants. This is where, if I was not lazy, I'd already have all like the data sheets and that pre-prepared. So here's our little interface part of the board that goes into the actual cone with all the contacts to program the bomb fuses. And we have this lovely gold and ceramic package. Unfortunately, they're not part numbers I recognise. We've got an LM139, which I believe is an op-amp from memory. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, I'm surprised there's no LM324s in this thing, because those things you usually find in absolutely everything. We've got one of these CAN chips, which is an LF198H, which is next to the LF11331D, gold ceramic chip. And if we pop these off, this is the bit where I should pause the video, but Simon doesn't do that, does he? No, he doesn't. You only get to watch me screw for a bit. Maybe I should start an OnlyFans account where it's just like watching me where it's just watching me screwing. And you just know with me that would be a troll account, because it would not be the kind of screwing you'd normally see on an OnlyFans account. It would literally just be like what I'm doing now, just to troll people, because that's fun. Because there's nothing wrong with a little bit of trolling as long as you're not like basically cyberbullying someone. So if we pull this off, oh god, I forgot about these things. It actually has these. What is holding you down? Ah! Screw number 5. Dozy old Dora didn't notice. Ah, dear. Data sheets. So yeah, mine seems to be 84, 85 vintage. Ooh, there goes another washer. There's another plastic washer. So yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, the plastic washers are... But yeah, we go onto this side and we've got 2 more chips, which I'm not entirely sure what they're doing. We've got the status LEDs for pass, fail, and orange, which I guess is just like in the process of testing. We got this thing, which could be a voltage regulator, because we got this 105 35 volt that looks like it's a fuse. LM109, or it could be an op-amp. But yeah, we got that. He could be a fuse. We've got a transistor there. We've got a little diode in there, which looks like either a silicon diode, maybe a Zener diode, but Zener diode only if involved in power. We've got what looks like a decoupling capacitor on the back of the this ceramic chip. All the chips in this are ceramic, which is quite common with military equipment, actually. It's very common for military equipment to use ceramic chips. Whoops. Oops. I dropped him. Right, I'm going to pause the video while I put this back together and we move on to the main unit. Okay, that has been reassembled and you can see it sitting here. And we're on to this, which is, yeah. It doesn't actually say error. There we go. So they noted down the error. So we swapped our screwdriver head. We almost lost our other one, which we're going to need. And we're going to flip him round. Because maybe we can fix this and then we can program explosive devices for shits and giggles. And I just headbutted the camera because, well, I'm a clumsy oaf. What's that, swear number 2? And the nice thing is these are actually all captive screws, which is absolutely awesome. Makes life so much easier. There's only 6 of them. These are actually rubber shocks under here, which have somehow not disintegrated to nothing, bearing in mind they're from the 80s. And most rubber things from the 80s kind of have a habit of perishing and disintegrating by now. Hell, rubber things from the early 2000s are doing that. That lovely rubberized coating they put on like electrical devices. Oh my god, when that goes old, that stuff goes disgusting. It's great when it's new, but Has a really pleasing texture when it's new, but when it gets old, oh my god, it's just horrible. Now this has a suction again, and this is pretty much because it's got friendly neighbourhood grease in there. But once we pop this off, we can show you the lovely rubber O-ring, and we can even show you the grease. Look at that. Beautiful. It's a very effective method of waterproofing, actually. And then, of course, we've got our mandatory silica gel packs that, remember, do not eat them. Do not eat these, because apparently, you know, that needs stating. Apparently there are people who in this world who are stupid enough to think eating silica gel is a good idea. And here we have the beautiful motherboard of this lovely 1980s computer designed to program devices of death and destruction. And this is where we lost our end and found it again. And we have two EPROMs. We have the microprocessor. We have a coprocessor / I/O chip. We have what looks to be RAM. Are these the same component? MD28253, 8253-B. Yep, these two are probably the RAM, and then I'm guessing mask ROMs or some sort. And then we have our two EPROMs, which are both respectively 2732 chips. Interestingly, one of the same types that's compatible with my Acorn System 1 I built. And we've got IC9, 12, and then of course like revision numbers. And they're even labelled PROMs, which makes life a bit easier. Unfortunately, the others are just labelled IC numbered. I might actually do a dump of these ROMs and just put the raw hex in the description. So keep an eye out for that. We've got two crystals, both of which are 2 megahertz. One will of course be for this processor, the other one will be for that. In fact, we can prove that. We can prove what they're for with Mr. Multimeter. I haven't done any research on what this... There we go. Straight into that pin. Where's the second one go? It usually goes to pin next to it. Oh, there we go. There's the other one, other side. And this one? Ah, interesting. 2 clocks going into this. Ah, redundancy, of course. Redundancy, of course. Yes, military. They like their redundancy. Yeah, but this seems to be the main processor, and it is and it's socketed, so we can actually pop him out if we're gentle and show him to you in more detail, because we're recording in HD, because we're using the work phone this time instead of my personal phone, which is here. Looking all kind of cool and stuff. And this is let the phone focus on it. Come on, I know you can do it. That looks about right. A CDP1802ADX. I might actually look that up and put data sheets in the description, but at least you can Google it yourself if you're interested. And its secondary companion chip is a CDP1854ADX. And they're both made by RCA. In fact, all these ceramic chips are made by RCA. So we'll pop him back in. Is there anything under one of the EPROMs, or are they just your usual diddly squit under them? Usual diddly squit, yeah. 8540 when this one was manufactured, and that actually goes with the date code on the top of the unit. Come on, there we go. 1080p HD, decent quality video, actually available on mobile phones these days. How technology has moved on. This is actually a 2-board design. We could actually confirm the thing by running this opened up and probing it with the oscilloscope and frequency counter. We could use the ones which are appropriate label from the sort of time period this is from to the Rigol, which is far too modern for this. As you can see, I have only the most tidiest in workbenches. That's totally not just covered in the most random ass of nonsense. Let's be honest, a tidy workbench is an unused workbench. I mean, Big Clive just keeps his avalanches and messes just out of the field of view of the camera. As he very often mentions something being an avalanche happening when he's like goes looking for a tool or is buried in a previous avalanche of junk. Big Clive doesn't want to do a house tour because he's basically said he's kind of a bit of ashamed of showing off the mess of his house, and it's just like, it's fine. I tend to just keep the mess contained to the workshop, although occasionally it does spread out into other areas of the house, but usually in a manageable manner. In here is just unmanageable to keep tidy. Oh, poo. Oh, fiddlesticks. Oh, fie. It'll be another week before I can coax her out of there. Yeah, longer if we're lucky. Barney, you're not an animal person? Yo. Oh dear, sorry, you're going to have to put up with my OCD lining up the screws perfectly. That's what you get for watching a channel that's basically run by an Aspie, OCD Central. And here we have the beauty when you fold it over, and it looks like the bottom could have EPROMs and stuff under. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. But it does have interesting looking tips. So let me just depart them from the boards they're attached to. Depart the flat flex and cabling that's what all the buttons and whatnot connect up to. You see, this is the sort of stuff that's just absolutely awesome. Marvin's one was older than mine. It was like earlier. I know when I saw that LED display, it's just like, that's either late 70s or early 80s. Turns out his was early 80s, so I was pretty bang on the mark there. Mine's getting into mid 80s because, let's be honest, they don't update military tech as an operation for a long time. In fact, I somewhat suspect these might still actually be in active operation because both his unit and my unit have some sort of fault. In my case, it's the display fault. In his case, it is a power supply fault because his wouldn't stay booted. It kept shutting itself down after being switched on. So here's the bottom board. Uses DB connectors for connection between boards. The display is, which flat flex is the display? The flat flex for the display is the middle one. It's the middle one. So the stuff that's responsible and probably messing up is basically, yeah, these hybrids, potentially, could be the source of the fault. And then we've got more of these chips, which interestingly are all labelled the same down the whole board, which either points to them being, well, a type of mask ROM or memory of some sort, or them being like display driver chips. And they are CDP 1852DX. And they are literally, every single one of these is one of those chips. Let me bring up the board closer so you can see. And then we've got this lovely 1980s, maybe 70s styled... yeah, actually, yeah, that's a pretty 70s layout for a switch mode power supply section, which is this lovely section here. The middle connector for the displays goes in here, and then the other two, this one's for the display, this one's for the button connector, And this one's for the I/O that basically connects to stuff like this. So we've got external I/O, display, and buttons. Control panel buttons, basically. So that's all rather interesting. And we have a whole bunch of power transistors, and these are basically high-power diodes because they've only got 2 pins. Although they do have that up there, which makes me think, are they transistors which have had the legs trimmed off? Let's see if those actually are commoned back to one of the pins. Yep, they're diodes. I thought they might be, but I just had to confirm. Because this is usually common to the negative of the interesting. No, I thought we had a short there. No, we don't. We do not. The trouble is other diodes and capacitors and things. So, what could be wrong in this with the display? Well, it probably goes into these lovely hybrid modules, which would be an absolute mongrel to actually try and repair with no spare parts or schematics. We have our power in here, which goes into these nice big 220 UF capacitors, 100 volts. That's then pulled out through the board. You can see where it goes to the power switch before it then disappears into the rest of the circuit. And even that switch up there is responsible for putting it in active. We're actually programming bombs to kill people mode versus we're training people to program bombs to kill people mode. It's like so. It's kind of a shame we put so much of awesome technology into like the sole purpose of murdering each other rather than, you know, bettering the world. It's like all this advanced tech could have been put to a far more peaceful and nice purpose than basically blowing people to smithereens. So, let's take out our dodgy display unit. Because we can see it's not actually the 7-segment units themselves. So what you have here is a, I love that, ML2. I wonder if that's mil spec. But we've got a resistor network. That kind of makes sense for a 7-seg display, which you know is going to be multiplexed. We've got a few transistors up here. We've got a lovely little hybrid module here, because everyone loves hybrid modules. And one really interesting thing about these display units is they're socketed. And this is one of the things I love about military tech, is they have repair and maintenance in mind. Because normally this sort of thing is soldered in, but in this case, these old school LEDs that, you know, have that typical topology of early 7-segment LEDs of this design are basically on plug sockets. You can take them in and out and replace as needed. And the nice thing about this is it also gives versatility in the design, that you can basically just reprogram the ROMs, stick in a few different displays, and oh damn, stick in a few extra different displays and you've got a oh hello, I might have found out why he failed, because that pin was not in properly. Was that my doing? Maybe. This is the bit where we forget the way round it went. And we put it back in the wrong way round. Oh, I bet I do that. I'd put money on me doing that, to be honest. But yeah, so you could actually basically use the same board for different things and just reprogram the display. And pop him back in. Yeah, I definitely put him in the wrong way round. I'm gonna fix that while I can. And maybe he might work now. I wonder if that was just me removing him. Maybe that's why some of the segments were dodgy. Oh, poo. I just bent the pins again. Joys. It's like, how do I know? Because I'm going off the other ones that are similar. These are very thin and fragile pins, but here's a look at one of the LED displays. Ooh, 25 minutes already. That's a long old video. Not long for a teardown for me, though. Resistors, unsurprisingly, are precision resistors because they've got a red band for their thing. Which is basically a 2% tolerance. Oh, don't worry, I just looked at my resistor cheat sheet to tell you that. My brain isn't capable of remembering that. Shh, I shouldn't be giving away all my secrets like that, making myself look less intelligent. Oh God, he won't go back in. I'm trying. You're making it go back in. Oh, that's funny when Moss is sitting on the toilet to record his online dating profile. There we go. And he's in. And that is the adventure of the, basically, the bomb fuse setup. We don't have any bomb fuses, unfortunately, which would actually be quite cool to take one of those apart and see how they work. But I distinctly suspect the reason why those are not available on the Stir Plus market, unfortunately. Because, well, we all know the bad actors that would want that technology for less wholesome purposes than to learn how it works. Because humans will be humans, and humans do have an absolute love for killing each other mercilessly. And thanks for watching, and we'll see if I can challenge myself in the next video to not swear. That's the challenge. I suspect I'll be failing it for a while. I'll get it in the end, though. Just wish me the best of luck to try and reduce the amount I swear, because I swear way too much. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that teardown. Hopefully I added some more to the whole of this thing, because it's quite interesting. And I'm going to do some Googling on the data sheets of some of these chips and stick it in the description. That is a fact now, because I'm going to go to the computer and stick the links in a notepad file for when I upload this. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I should probably think about going to bed now, because I got work tomorrow and it's already probably about 1 o'clock in the morning. The joys of being nocturnal.